Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review, impressions of a knife. That was loaned to me by Quiet Carry. Quiet Carry allowed me to take a look at this fixed blade. This is called the Marq, M-A-R-Q. Really cool blade. There's a link down in the description for it. I've been kind of looking for a fixed blade. I have a Dread Eye by Tactile Knife Company. Great little fixie, really nice and EDC friendly size. I like it a lot. But I was kind of looking for another knife I thought would be interesting. I tried a Reef recently. I think it's a great USA made blade. Just a weird handle that just wouldn't work for me and would turn in my hand. So that wasn't quite my cup of tea. Well, Quiet Carry came out with this, and I love a lot of the Quiet Carry designs. Love their aesthetics and everything. And I thought, man, this is really cool. So I said, hey, is there any chance I could take a look at it? They allowed me to borrow this, so this is not mine. So just understand, this is an impression review, not from Hard Juice, because I don't own this. Now, do I want to own this? Yes, I'll give you a hint. I very much want to have this in my possession. I want to have it in my collection. So they are making a Kydex sheath or holster for this. Right now, this is the leather sheath, and I can't wait for that because I would love to get that. And so at that point, I'd like to add it to my collection. Right now is not a good time for me to add things to my collection. A lot of things going on. So I'm just appreciative that I get a chance to check this out. So in checking this out, what I do is, I kind of just carry it here at the desk. I kind of feel for it and hold it in my hand. So first of all, let's talk about this leather sheath. Beautiful leather sheath, nice thick, sturdy leather, nice clip on there, which is in there really well, riveted well, nice in there. Very thick stock down here for the blade to fit in and to sit right there, so it's not going to like cut through or anything like that. This does pop off really easily for a removal and then a reseating of the blade into the leather sheath. Has a nice leather holster or leather loop right here. You can put it in your belt. Nice stitching. Looks like pretty heavy duty double stitch there. I don't know if it's double or single, but this is stitched really well as well. Nice finish on the side. Just a nice leather. You can smell it. It's nice leathery, and it buttons really well. So that's it. It's even got the little Q for Quiet Carry on there. I think that's cool. So here's a blade. As you can see, it is a fixed blade. It's in MagnaCut. MagnaCut is a super steel, really great super steel. G10 handles, beautifully made. It's got some nice texture on there, which is great for texture and gripping. Beautiful screws here. These are both T8s all the way across, which is fantastic for disassembly. You may say, well, why do you have screws on here? Why would you disassemble it? Well, if you're out using this knife, let's say you're hunting, you get it muddy. Maybe you did hunt and you're, skinning the animal or whatever, you could get stuff inside the handles. You want to take that apart and wash it out, right? You want to clean it, especially for stuff like that with skinning. That's really important, right? So that makes it nice. It does have a little lanyard loop, so if you're out there hunting and you don't want to lose it, you definitely have a nice little place you can put a lanyard loop and hang on to. It's got beautiful jimping on the spine, and the spine goes all the way through. The tang goes all the way through the blade. I mean, the tang goes all the way through the handles from the blade all the way to the back. And so you see that's a full tang. It's not like one of these little hidden thin tangs. So that's nice. Gives it a good strong stability. Being MagnaCut, I believe Quiet Carry, this is done over in Taiwan, and so I believe it's hitting around 62, maybe a little higher, I don't know. But 62 is not bad for overseas MagnaCut. It's definitely better than the 60, 61 that you saw a lot. And so I'm excited about that. I don't have a chance to actually take this knife and sharpen it or strop it. It's not mine. It's a loaner. So I did nothing with it. I wasn't going to cut. I wasn't going to do hard use, nothing like that. It's a little dust on here for just holding it, right? So I'll wipe that off before I put it together and ship it back. But beautiful, beautiful knife. I would love to at some point get this into my possession because I would strop it. I'd probably re-apex this blade because it's a little longer on this edge than it is here, which means that the grind wasn't just perfectly centered. That happens, especially it's a larger blade, so it's something I can fix, and I'm not worried about it. It's nice and feels rounded up here. There's a little swedge up here, which you can do some turning. It's not super sharp. I mean, you can still use over here the little sharpening tool. You can, for a ferrous rod if you needed to. You can definitely cause some sparks and start a fire. That's nice, but it's not uncomfortable anywhere where it's going to rip up your hands. You do have some texture, like I said. It'll keep your hands secure. I have large hands with really meaty fingers. Plenty of room here for extra large, double extra large. I mean, really, really hands could get all the way down there, but this is my very large, large hands with very meaty fingers, so plenty of room for me. I get a good grip. It's not turning in my handle. I'm going to be able to have good control, both left and right hand. The G10 scales, and that's what these are, G10, and they're textured, right, with this like a the screw back here and the screw going in here. It goes through the full tang and goes through the handles. Very nicely rounded all the way around. Doesn't get into your hands, not going to cause uncomfortable issues. This has a little cutaway, a little chamfering, so your finger fits into that groove really well, both left and right-handed. And then you have this little part that's cut off. You know, a lot of times that's for when you're trying to do like some prep. You know, if you're doing maybe skinning of an animal you hunted, maybe you're cutting some food at the campfire, you're making your dinner or whatever. Maybe you're cutting some wood, some whatever things. You know, it's just nice that you can do some of those things and it's there ready for you to go, right? And then you even have the jimping where you can kind of secure the knife in your hand. I love this overextension of the tang. This allows for, you know, if you're cutting, banging, do some things, a lot of times you'll do, you know, crazy things with your knife, and especially a fixed blade. You know, you might cut logs with this. You know, I would recommend an axe, obviously, but this is better than using, let's say, a button lock or using a frame lock or a liner lock. This is obviously going to be a more secure, stronger tool. So I would recommend, you know, something like a fixed blade. So I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I love the little accents that are around the screw here, or the screw, you know, tube or collar, whatever you want to call it here. It just gives it a little extra touch, because you know Quiet Carry has the 4 little things, and I think that's a beautiful little nice touch. Quiet Carry MagnaCut. So I think that's pretty stinking cool. The comfort of this with the texture gives it nice secure hold. Nice thin flat grind here. I mean, it's not all the way flat grind, which is great because it's thick, but it does have a kind of a thinner tip. So I wouldn't pry or anything like that, but you're definitely going to be able to get into stuff. You're going to be able to slice stuff. I think it's really fantastic for that purposes. So yeah, I'm digging that. I'm digging that a lot. All right, so that's the materials. How do you open and close it? Well, it's a fixed blade, so it goes into the sheath. This is how you close it. You put it in the sheath, you button it. There you go. It goes through a loop. It's probably held there. You want to get it out, you pop the loop, you pull the knife out. That's it. Now, the Kydex holster, I'm hoping it'll be something that'll lock in. You pop it in, and it locks in place, click, and then you have to unlock it to pop it out just by the pressure, right? So that's typically what a Kydex holster does. And you don't get the little pieces of leather everywhere, so that's nice. Yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, everything but the shape, the grind, all that stuff is really nice. Like I said, I'm not going to strop it. I'm not going to do anything because it's not my knife. I don't get a chance to do any of that. But it feels like it's a beautiful edge. It feels like it would just cut really well. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so let's do a little weight category and some little things like here. So I'm going to get some of my tools over here. Let's get the scale out. Now, you know, I don't normally do fixed blades, so I'm not a fixed blade aficionado or expert, but here we go. So here it is without the leather holster. It's 6.8 ounces, so it's not a light knife. It's a pretty big boy. Let's go ahead and put it in with the holster and see what that is. So it's 8.3 ounces. So we're right at a half of a pound of a knife right there with that together. Without it, it's just a little under half of a pound, close to 7 ounces, right? So it's not a light knife. It's definitely got some substance to it. It's definitely has some weight. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's look at the length here. It is not a small knife, and you're going to see that. So we're looking from here to the back. We're over 9 inches. We're about 9 1/4, maybe to 9 1/8. Yeah, I'm going to say 9 1/4, probably 9 1/4 inches. So it's a pretty big blade. The handle area, if you go from the tip here to here, if you go to the very here, you got 4 inches exactly. If you were allowed to go over a little bit, you're getting close to where you could probably do about 4 1/2, 4 1/4 inches. So like I said, it fits well on hand. Plenty of room, plenty of room. Even if I spread out my hands, comfortable, have larger hands, it'll fit in there, I think, really well. All right, so let's look at the length of the blade. It's a fixed blade, so it's meant for hard use and things like that. So this one is going to be from the tip there, we're about 4 and I want to say 3/8 of an inch from the tip there. So it's definitely over the 4 inches, not a small blade. From the tip here to the cutting length, we're looking at about probably just shy of 4 1/2. I want to say 4 1/3, 4 1/3 inches. So it's not a small length blade. So keep that in mind. So let's look at the tang here, see how thick that is. And it looks like it's pretty consistent all the way through. So I'm going to go ahead and hold this. So we're going to go back here at 0. So let's see what we're looking at. We're looking at 134 thousandths of an inch. So 0.134 inches. So it's definitely thinner than some of, like, you know, a Medford knife or some of the really overbuilt knives. It's definitely thinner than that. But it's a MagnaCut, and it's a solid piece of MagnaCut. Works really well. So I think there's a lot of benefit there. So there you go. That's the weight. Now, the cost of this, it's just under $300. It's going to be in the regular knife category. I think if they ever decided to do like carbon fiber or something fancy and maybe with the Kydex holster, it could put it probably over the 300, but it's definitely in the very high-end regular knife with a very introductory, very low area of a high-end knife. So my regular knives are $100 to $300. A high-end knife is $300 to $600. So, you know, it's close. It's right that threshold, but just handling it, my impressions, and like I said, I haven't done cut tests. It's not my knife. I don't do that. This is a loaner. I got to send it back because in case they ship it to another somebody to look at or they sell it, I want it to be in the same condition I received it. So I will tell you that it is, to me, this seems closer. It's a nice range. Let's put it that way. The high end, it's a very good quality high end. It would be a very inexpensive, good quality regular knife or a very inexpensive high-end knife. You call it what you want. What's the purposes? Is this EDC? Absolutely EDC for hiking, hunting, stuff like that. I think, could you EDC it regularly? Yeah, you could. I mean, it's a big blade. It's a big knife. Some people might not feel comfortable EDCing such a large knife, but it absolutely could and do well. I love the shape of it. It just looks like a nice, big, kind of bowie, kind of hunting sort of knife. So if we EDC it, is it a hard use knife? Yeah, this is probably one of the most hard use knife I've have yet. Maybe my Dread Eye would be hard use as well, but certainly more hard use than some of the frame locks or the liner locks. Absolutely, just a really stinking cool knife. So is it a collection piece? Well, hard fixed blades for me are user knives. They're not things I collect. I don't get these to put them on a wall and collect them. But then again, all my knives I like to carry, right? I enjoy carrying my knives, and I feel like it's not really a knife if I can't carry it. So, there's that. This is definitely something I would carry, something I'd want to use, something I'd want to experience, have in the car, whatever. I think everyone should have a nice, super solid knife like this, and I think that's that. All right, so let's look at the ergos and feel. The overall design. The overall design is fantastic. I love the rounded handles. I love the texture on the G10. I love the little accents and the, no screws on this side, and then the screws are on this side. It's kind of like a little hidden sort of thing. I love MagnaCut, and I love it says Quiet Carry. Very minimalistic billboarding on here. Love the overextended jimping. I love the thick blade. Kind of comes to a thin tip. I love it. It's a nice flat grind, kind of a clip point. I love, like I said, everything was rounded, but there's some key areas that are chamfered where your hand can fit in really, really well. There's even a little chamfering here, and I always thought, what is that for? But that's really great for cutting, so that's a bonus. The metal tang, the tang of the blade sticks out a little bit past, but that can be used for certain things when you need it. I think that's brilliant, right? So that's my idea of getting a knife like that quality. It's useful. It's useful. It's the ergos, and everything about it is designed to be comfortable, to fit comfortably, and to work comfortably, and to be used. And so to me, that's great. So opening and closing. Well, there's really no opening and closing. You put it in the sheath, you button it, you pop open the button, you take it out of the sheath. It works perfectly as a fixed blade. It's actually a pretty nice leather sheath. If I was going to have a leather sheath, this would be it, because this is a really easy to work, very functional leather sheath. So that's the opening and closing, and I think it's fantastic, right? So I'm a big fan of that. Let's see here. What is the fidget factor? Well, it's opening and closing. If you're going to give this a fidget factor, just carrying this knife, it's very comfortable. I can do the reverse cut. I can do the pull cut, all that stuff. If I was just going to carry this knife as a fixed blade, would it at least get a solid 1? Yeah, I'd probably get a solid 1, maybe a 1.5. I don't know. It works well. It works well going in. It works well going out. Now, I would love to get a Kydex holster, and I think it might get a much higher score for that, but maybe a 1.5 on the scale. As far as the fidget factor, because in and out sheath, and you cut, but it holds well, it handles well, it transfers well, it's a knife that you can move around, very useful for your purposes, right? It works, and I like that. So as far as the fidgety goodness, for what it does as a fixed blade, it's 100%. This is probably one of the best fixed blades I have yet to experience as a reviewer. I love it. Now, I like the Dread Eye a lot, my tactile knife company, the one I own, but this is really stinking cool. Really, really stinking cool. I think a lot of people are going to like that and be thoroughly impressed. So there you go. Opening and closing, we already talked about that. In and out the sheet, not a big deal, right? Already talked about the other things. Fidgety goodness, we talked about that. So let's talk about the overall thoughts. Is it recommended? Well, you could probably guess by now. Absolutely. Are you crazy? This is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal fixed blade. It is one of my favorite fixed blades. Well, it's the most favorite fixed blade I have ever reviewed and ever unboxed. I love it. I love everything about it. And I even told the guy, I said, you know, hey, I want to buy this. As soon as the Kydex is out and I have the extra money, I want to get one of these because it is just that stinking good. It is that stinking good. If you're on the fence and you're like, maybe I want a fixed blade, that's too big. Maybe it doesn't feel big. I mean, it is big, but it doesn't feel too big. It feels useful. It feels like what a fixed blade should be. It feels like it's a power tool. And that's what fixed blades are. You know, if you're camping, you got to have a fixed blade so you can cook, get the food ready, you know, maybe get your campsite ready, maybe get some kindling wood. A fixed blade is great for all of that. So there you go. Is this recommended? I think I already said it, but absolutely 100%, no questions asked. Yes, it's recommended. Even more so when they get the Kydex holster out. I can't wait for that. And that's one of those knives, if they didn't have it, I'd go seek someone out and say, hey, can you make a Kydex holster for this knife? Because that's what I would like, a Kydex holster. So if they provide one that's very functional, I'm just going to be super excited. I'm going to be looking out for that. But, I mean, it's a great knife. It just is a great knife. Everything about it. Let's take a nice close look up of this so you guys can see it. Here it is with the screw side showing in MagnaCut, as you can see. So that's one. Y'all see that? Are you all there? All right, so then here's the other side with the screws kind of hidden. I like that. I like the little touches. I like the little rings around there. It's kind of like accent on the screws. I think that's stinking cool. So here you go. Love this knife. Love the look of this knife, the profile, everything. Yeah, so this is a great knife. Really, really fantastic. Something I can recommend, something I feel good about, something that feels great in the hand. Overall, probably one of the best fixed blades I have ever handled. I really, really like this knife a lot. Everything about the handle, you'll notice ergonomics, you notice all the shapes, everything. It's just wonderful, just wonderful. You know, jipping on the spine, the MagnaCut, the tip, everything, just really great for cutting, nice flat grind. Beautiful tang, full tang on the blade. I love the accents with the screws, T8s, everything. It just fits so well, Pinch grip, everything. It's just fantastic. Yeah, I think this is one of those knives you're gonna really, really enjoy, and I think you'd be happy about. If you're on the fence thinking about buying a knife, this is the one. This is the one I would recommend. Definitely, I don't think you'll be disappointed, so there you go. Yeah, so I think this is a fantastic knife, and definitely gonna be really recommendable. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel. Allows the channel to grow, produce more content, become bigger, and do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to all of you guys, especially to those of you who watch, who like, who subscribe to channels. It's a huge help. And hey, if you haven't already, maybe hit that notification button down below so you can also be notified of future content like this video. And then finally, to all of my channel members out there, big shout out, big thank you to you guys. Wouldn't be able to do what I'm able to do without you. You're instrumental in allowing me to check out different knives, be able to cover costs and things like that. And I just really want to say thank you. And just want to make sure no one feels that you ever have to be a channel member, but if you want to, you're on the fence and you're thinking, hey, I'd like to become a channel member, check out the description down below on how you can become one. I have 3 different tiers. Would love to have you. I'd be super honored if you were. And, you know, for all the channel members, I do a once a month giveaway. We also give a sticker to everybody if you became a channel member and you haven't gotten a sticker yet. I'm more than happy to send you one. If you decide to become one, I will send you one if you just reach out to me, give me your first and last name, you know, and your address. And then finally, if you haven't already, maybe check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. So thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.